Hiya! Welcome back to my channel! For a lot of you who might not know, Dead Moon Circus was a fan film I did many years ago with a whole bunch of very creative and beautifully passionate people. And it is a fan film based off the Japanese anime and manga, one of my favorites, Sailor Moon. So, let's start watching. Well, this is exciting. This has literally been like, I haven't seen this in a couple of years actually. So this is going to be quite exciting to watch. Aprille. Damien Sato. So, funny fact, that thing she has around her eyes, the blindfold, that's actually Tagazai's headband that he wears throughout the film. We kind of do a lot of double ups here and there. For example, the red satin sheets behind them, we kind of reuse them multiple times in this. You'll probably see it. So, yeah, we kind of had this really flimsy little backyard, and I kind of tried to make it as romantic as possible. So we just had wild, ridiculous vines growing everywhere in the backyard, and I kind of just threw a bunch of fairy lights on it and tried to make do. That spaghetti was sitting there for like 2 hours. It was not edible. Them dancing under my clothesline. That's right, this was under a clothesline, and in the background you can see the clothes. Aprille designed that dress, by the way. That dress she's wearing there. She I think she's into swimwear at the moment, but she designed that dress, and I think they had it made. Oh, Jess. So that is a green screen propped up against my bedroom window, and I stole my sister's curtains for that. The eye I didn't realize was really creepy. Does anyone else see that eye just sitting there? All of that was a matte painting. Jess is one of my oldest friends, oldest and dearest friends, and I will say, she was in her early 20s, and she's playing what's supposed to be a 10-year-old. So many stock footage shots. We filmed this in Australia, obviously, with the accents. I think the only two there not wearing wigs is Sharon and Serena, who play Lita and Mina. Everyone else is wearing a wig in this. Can we just talk about the green screen for a second? Jesus Christ. Yeah, you can clearly see we had no budget for this. But it was made with a lot of love, and that's what counts. Elizabeth, she lives in America now. She's quite successful in her own right. Filming this day was crazy because there really were a lot of families in the park having picnics, and we kind of reserved this place really early in the morning. Jace is so young there. Holy bananas. That's another person I loved working with, and I've worked with him a few times after. He's fantastic. So the guy you're about to see here, by the way, the short guy, that is Aprille's brother, her older brother, and he was there almost every day on set that she was. He took a lot of really beautiful behind the scenes photos. He was such a character. He still is. He's awesome. And yeah, he got to have a cameo. Boys! We have Jace, Damien, and Alex, who were all amazing to work with, and I've worked with them many times after. They were so fun to work with. Everyone was really fun to work with, which I enjoyed. This is so awkward. We have all had that moment in our lives where we've tried to talk to somebody we're really attracted to and then completely made a fool of ourselves. Unless you're like a superstar or a superstardess. That is not a word. I will not make that a word. I apologize. Okay, this shot, this circus tent is actually a real prop that we had. I think it was like a food container or something that we had. And I used paper mache and sort of made it into a tent, the shape of the tent, very similar to the anime. And then colored it and painted it. And then, so that shot you see, that it actually is a real thing that we had sort of lowering down, and then everything else around it was just green screen. I love this music though. Aaron did the music for this, and we gave him some samples of what the anime used for the show, and he sort of went in his own little studio and he remade the music into something really cool that suits our project. I still have all these songs, by the way, like all of them on a CD or on my computer somewhere. I believe these were Gabby's children. I believe. My memory is so shot because it was like 11, 12 years ago now. Again, like 90% of this was all green screen, which is why we were able to shoot a lot of it so fast. And then there was a year between part 1 and part 2. And literally it was because I had just finished part 1, uploaded it, and I just started straight away working on the rest of it. It was supposed to be one big film, but I just could not wait for the whole thing to be done. So I just split it into parts and just released it. So I couldn't have everyone waiting for that long. Zirconia! Oh, okay. So let's talk about her makeup, shall we?
Now, who volunteers to serve our queen?
Zirconia is sort of like a being from out of space. Her skin is supposed to be, well, his skin is supposed to be very deep purple, very slimy. That's what we're going for anyway. On camera, it looks cool under the lights. In real life, it was really problematic. I'm not going to say why, but we refused to let anyone take any photos of her. She was not to take any selfies because outside of the camera, outside of the lights, it was really problematic. And I think towards the end of it, we started changing that up a little bit and changing the color of it, because even though like it looks good on camera, just to have someone walking around in that, even though it's for art and it looks very different on camera, it was just so uncomfortable. The girls, the Amazon Quartet. Tracy, one of my besties. It's Haley, Miss Chris, who sings the theme song for the film. That's right, that beautiful, soulful voice you hear singing the remix version of Sailor Moon at the end of part 2. That was her. She recorded it herself. We wanted to give the characters their own sort of personality, and we wanted to sort of keep it true to what we knew and grew up with, but also give them a chance as actors to sort of develop their own characters. I'm obsessed with Van. Van's performance of Fisheye was just insane. I'm so proud of that. So yeah, you're kind of getting a bit of my horror roots here. I do love horror films, and I kind of wanted to play this into that. So it is really kind of eerie. That's not a bus stop, by the way. That's just a stop sign.
Wow. I can't believe I just made that mistake.
Yeah, Corey's so good at being creepy. She's running around the same bush multiple times because we didn't have much bush area. The classic horror movie Fall. So we tried to do shot by shot the exact same moment that these victims get captured in the anime and manga.
Hey! What are you supposed to be?
Look, I don't know who you are or who you think you are, but you better back off.
Oh, we're about to come up to a part that I completely forgot was in this. Mercury's missing gloves. In the comment section, this has been mentioned many times. Let me make it very clear what happened. We filmed her fight scene. We rehearsed it. She was really good. We had day rehearsals and everything. We got so into it. She got her costume on. We started filming. She was kicking ass. It was really good. And then halfway through, we realized, holy crap, she didn't have her gloves on, because we were sort of rehearsing beforehand, and we didn't want the gloves to get dirty, so we took them off. And then we realized that she didn't have her gloves on, and we're like, crap, what the hell do we do? It was like 3 a.m. We couldn't reshoot everything. She had to go home. So we're like, okay, I'm gonna bite the bullet. Let's just have her use her gloves and have them sort of appear and like magically appear as like protection to grab the whip. And so in a way it was kind of to show that each part of the costume does have a purpose, except for the pretty bow. The pretty bow is just to be pretty. Overcompensating for the fact that we're in Australia and not Japan, so having all those really bad CG signs popping up that were not even in Japanese. Oh, yeah, actually that still gets me. That actually still gets me. I think if I came back and did like a part 3, I would want to make it a bit more scary. The monsters, if you actually think about what they would look like in real life, if they were real, they would be terrifying. Nehelenia. Played by Jacqueline Murray.
I apologize, my
She's so gorgeous in this. So in this one, Zirconia kind of takes the lead in the villain, but there is a high person that the villain answers to, and that's Nehelenia. This fight scene, it was in my backyard. It was, I think it's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We had sort of practiced it on the day. We choreographed the fight on the day. Lesson: never choreograph a fight on the day. Stupid mistake. But they pulled it off, they made it look good.
Can I help you?
I sure hope so.
Van is delightfully creepy and handsomely horrible. Very terrifying too. Oh my god, so with this scene, a lot of people said that they can see her underpants when she flips down. No, you don't see her underpants. She's wearing tights under that. And it's so fast, you don't even see it. And what I did was, I actually went through. So if you go through frame by frame, you'll see that I've gone through and I've blurred it. So you can't see anything anyway. Oh, and when we were rehearsing this fight, because at the time I had this chihuahua who crapped everywhere, all over the backyard. This is the same backyard as the beginning dinner scene, by the way, between Darian and Serena. But while we were rehearsing the fight, Renee goes down and puts her hand straight into dog poop. And I felt so horrible because I thought I cleared it all, and it was like, obviously not. So, but she stood up, she washed it off, and we just continued. The spider web. A little bit of foreboding there. Huh. That was an upside down vase that I painted. Very beautiful pastel colors. It looks pretty good, but that lid comes off. It's so flimsy. It was just like I spray painted it, and no, it wasn't a vase. It was a light globe. It was like a lamp, and I turned, it was a broken lamp we had, and I sort of turned the thing upside down and just painted everything so it looked nice. Oh, Chai and Serena, they were so good. I wanted them to sort of represent this goofy kind of lighthearted love. And they really played off each other quite well, which is really good. This fight scene took forever to film. It was like shot over a period of a week, collective like 7 days, spaced out over like a month. And it was because every single person in this shot was all shot separately. So you had all the extras that were there for one day at an actual event that Aprille was hosting and was gracious enough to let us film in that hall just beforehand with all our friends and family who came to be extras, and we filmed a whole bunch of them running. Then we filmed everybody else against a green screen and inserted them into the scene. So at the Amazon Quartet, you had Chai, again, no one was in that scene together. The chaos was real though. Even when Tuxedo Mask and Hawkeye are fighting, Andy was not available because he was very busy with his shooting schedule for something else that he was doing. So we filmed Damien filming fighting Chai, who was actually dressed up in Hawkeye's costumes. That's why you don't really see his face too much. And then when we cut to the close-ups, it's Andy, who could do all of those martial arts tricks himself, but it's just he wasn't available on the day. So that's how we sort of got around that. Zeolite and Xenotime were not twins. They were the same guy. Played by Chris Kamikaze Merriman. And we just did basically split screening and a lot of that sort of thing to get the double effect of him being there. This was sad. I wanted to have this emotional moment because the Amazon trio, pretty much what everyone in this character wants, is a place to belong, a place to be free, to be themselves and to be loved. These guys have formed a brotherhood. They're brothers. And it was really heartbreaking to see one of them go down. And it was at that moment that when the Sailor Soldiers are fighting them and they see this happen and they witness the pain and heartache and fear that they feel for their brother who is dying, they realize that they're not too different. They just want to be loved, they want to be free. They're just as tortured as any of them are. So it was important for them to see that, and it was a beautiful moment to have Sailor Moon use her powers to resurrect him and give them a new life, which was beautiful. And of course, Rini gets outed for having a secret. This was all green screen, and it had to be. We didn't really have too much of an option. No one got paid, everyone was there for free, so we had to work around that. Hence, a lot of the green screen. Wow, that was a massive trip down memory lane. I can see why it has 200,000 views. I'm very proud of it. You can tell it was made with a lot of love. There were so many things there I would not do today. I would not have a cast that large. This is such an ambitious project to take on with such little money. We told it as effectively as we could, and I'm still very proud of it, but no, I would not shoot something that large scale again with no money. 2, costumes. I would invest a lot more money in the costumes. The costumes were great, everybody rocked it, but yeah, this is a massive shout out to the cosplayers. You guys really are artists. Although a lot of the costumes weren't as accurate as a lot of the cosplayers and the purists sort of pointed out in the comment section. I would probably invest a lot more into trying to make the costumes a little bit more pure or a little bit more accurate. But everybody looked really great and everyone looked beautiful, so I'm really proud of that. Another thing I would do is locations. I would search for better locations and step outside of the backyard. I've done it many times now as I've grown, but I can't believe I spent an entire film inside my backyard against a green screen. But it still holds up. But lastly, and I cannot stress this enough, shots. Back in the day, I just mainly stuck it to, shoot the wide and cut in for the close-ups. And I got close-ups with everything. And then I got cutaways. And a lot of it was time wasted on shots that I never even used. So planning your shots and knowing exactly what you want to get from that scene and what you want to see is really important. You waste so much time overshooting. You don't need to. Obviously get your safeties, get your cutaways that you need to help with the editing, but really plan your shots. And even if you need to pre-visit and sort of go out and test shoot some things on your phone just to practice the shots and make sure everything looks right and cuts together well, do so. That is my advice. Thank you guys for joining me today. I will be doing number 2, as I said. Please leave me comments down below. Tell me if there's anything you would like me to react to or like me to talk about. I would love to sit down and do it. Until next time, bye.